Life Situation Commentaries, Series 7. Today we're going to be talking about job awareness and work tips. This is kind of branching off of the last series, Series 6, where I spoke on effective communication. And in that video, I talked about my tenure at my job, which is in food service for Rider University. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about job awareness and work tips. So number one, thoroughly read your employee handbook. Now, I'm suggesting that you really read it and understand it, not so much, not only so you know the rules, but it's always loopholes in everything. You know, when there's favoritism involved, when there's a conflict of interest involved, there's always a loophole in everything, and primarily one that works against you and not for you. So read your handbook. Just read your handbook. It's good. It's important to be knowledgeable of your handbook. Understand it. Understand your job. Understand your job. Point number 2. Research your surroundings. Me, most of the people that work at Rider Dining are from Trenton, New Jersey. And for anybody who's heard about Trenton, New Jersey, it's an urban community, predominantly black and Latino, and our management does not, externally and internally, they don't reflect the culture from which we come from. So right then there you got class, division of class. It's important to identify that. It's important to realize that, because that will help you maneuver. You can't communicate or interact with people from urban culture as you would from others from the suburban culture. So think about that. Point number 3, work hard or work smart. It depends on your job. For me, I work food service, so you got to work hard and you got to work smart. The people that you serve, if they like you, if they appreciate what you do, that can take you far. Sometimes you may not ever be a manager like me. You may never be a manager. You may never be a supervisor. But if you have the influence of the people, if you really show love, if you give it you may not be perfect, but you give it your best. You have problems. And some of the people that you serve don't like you, or they can't fully appreciate what you do, or they can't even understand the pressure that you're under, which makes you react in such a weird or unique way sometimes while you're at the job site. But you got to work hard. You got to work smart better than working hard. If you can just work smart and not work as hard, then work smart. But if you can do both, give it your best. Solidify yourself at the workplace. Solidify yourself and become immovable at the workplace by making sure that you come to do what you come to do. So you fit the job description. Figure out who is who. Not every environment at the workplace is a hostile environment. Okay, but I'm in a hostile environment, so I'm speaking from a hostile environment, workplace. Like I just said, that most of the people that come from Trenton, they come from the hood, so they got the hood mentality. Okay, and that's one beast you got to deal with. And then you got to deal with the bosses, the manager, mainly the managers, and there's suburbs, so they're very slick too, because they're intelligent. They think because I don't know whether it's the color of your skin or entitlement, position. They make more money than you. They work in the office while you work in the floor. All kinds of things that make them discriminate against you. As human beings, they don't see you as equal. They see you as below. So that's important to identify. Enlighten your guests, but don't complain. If you're going through problems at the workplace, and it shows in your facial expression, try to explain it to the guests that you're serving, but don't complain. Try not to complain, because the guests are relying for a satisfactory experience at the workplace. So you got to make sure that you don't come off as somebody who's trying to destroy that. You gotta build that up amongst your people. So the guests can't take responsibility for what you're doing. Some are willing, some will choose to do that, but for the most part they won't do that. So you gotta be careful. Break the rules. What I mean by that is, when I first started working at Ryder Dining, you wasn't allowed to go anywhere after you was done work. You wasn't allowed to really do much interaction with students. You wasn't allowed to stay on campus after you was done. You wasn't. Ryder had been through a shootout, and Ryder has been through some drug trafficking issues. As far as I can remember, and that really limited the employee-guest friendship, relationship, or connection. Between the employees and the guests. So I broke all the rules, but my intentions were different. My intentions was not to go partying and just build a network for the sake of building a network. I was determined to make a difference on campus and share my talent and inspire the campus. That was my intention. Intention is everything. Next point, document everything that happens and be able to state your reasons. One of the things that I said in the communication video, in the effective communication video, the last video, is that you gotta be able to understand the problem. You gotta be able to articulate in its entirety the problems that you're facing. That's very important. You get a lot of leverage like that, because sometimes if you can't articulate what you're going through, the people that you have a problem with can sidestep whatever issue you have, just because you can't say what's going on. You can kind of hint at it, you can kind of direct at it, but you're not really saying anything. So you got to understand the problem, so you be able to articulate it. Beware of the uneducated and disingenuous. Sometimes you may be an employee and you're smart. You're really smart, right? And the supervisor may be uneducated, okay? And uneducated, or even the manager is educated but disingenuous. You got to be careful. You cannot deal with you can't deal with an uneducated person the same way an educated. An uneducated person, a real uneducated person, will be a manipulative person. Okay, they don't have a knowledge to understand the people that they're dealing with, so they feel they have to be in control and manipulate their situations. Be deceitful, be deceptive, lying, and all that stuff. But the same applies to the manager. Okay, they have title, they have power. They don't have the same kind of responsibility that you have, except when they're not in the office, they're just observing, directing, and observing. So it's easier for the wealthy person to lie than for the beggar to tell the truth.